Three, two, one, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is another edition of Notes on the News, where I read to you headlines from my news feed and share with you my thoughts and ideas and perspective and take on the headlines. So that we can kind of get a survey of what's going on in the world and also try to integrate and make sense of what's going on in the world. But as the title says, it's not news. It's just my notes on the news. Thank you so much for clicking on the video or joining in live, because it is a live recording. You're like the live studio audience if you come in and everything, and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Hey, welcome on the chat. Okay, let us proceed with the notes on the news feed. Juice Cafe has a mission to bring healthy food choices to Midtown and the rest of Detroit. So it's a black woman opening, or I don't know if she's black, but she's brown. She's a woman of color opening a juice bar in Detroit, and she is also doing some work with people in recovery. But I'm just always here for the more black and brown folks that we see eating well, eating healthy, elevating their eating, the better as far as I'm concerned. So yay, whatever her name is, Juice Cafe. And they have like the bowls and all kinds of stuff like that too. Remembering the forgotten Denmark Vesey, the Charleston church founder who was a slave rebellion leader, or a leader of, the enslaved folks, us enslaved folks rebelling. And he was one of the founders of Mother Emanuel Church, where a couple years ago, a terrorist came in, I think it was in Manual 9. I think there were 9 folks that were killed by, a crazy person who went into the church during Bible study. And I think that he was actually doing it, or trying to do it. It was his way of, acknowledging the Denmark Vesey uprising, because it was close to a 200-year anniversary of the actual date. Alphonse Kanathanan, Indian ministers naked visa claim criticized. So I guess in India they're doing something where they're collecting information from all of the people. I don't just think that it's name and address. I think they're getting fingerprints, and I think that they're also getting scans of people's irises. And some people are upset. And I think that last year or the year before, someone was able to buy a lot of people's information for like the equivalent of $8. And so they're concerned that like you're gathering all of this information on all of us, and are you keeping it safe, and what's going on? And one of the people who's like in the government was like, look, you stop complaining now. This is my interpretation. You stop complaining now. We're your government and we're here for you. Now, if you were applying for a visa for the United States, y'all fill out 10 pages of information for them, and you give them all your information. You get naked for them, but you won't give your own government just your name and your address. And the people are like, now hold on now. Everybody in the country ain't applying for a visa for the United States. Hold on now. Applying for a visa is voluntary. What you making us do is mandatory. Hold on now. The last time I applied for a visa, I didn't get naked. Hold on. So the metaphor and the thing was lost on the people. It didn't help. It didn't shame them. They like, shame on you, Minister Alphonse Kanathanam. Kananthanum. What would a Ford move mean for Corktown and beyond? So there is the old train station in the Corktown area, and I guess Ford is considering buying it or getting it. Someone owns it, so I guess they would be buying it or renting it or using it. And so that would bring like a lot of activity and energy to that region of the city. And so, people are really excited. I heard that somewhere there was some property, some houses that, have been on the market for a while, and somebody came in and bought 3 of them for cash. Okay. Russia Kermerovo fire shopping center exits were blocked. Why were they blocked? I don't understand. There was a fire, and I think some people made their transition, and this was in Russia. And I don't know why the exits were blocked. I don't know if that's was part of whoever set the fire blocked them on purpose, or if that's like just, you know how sometimes like you might have stuff piled up against the wall just because it's convenient and you ain't really thinking about a fire until a fire happened, and then the people can't get out because the fire exits were blocked. Coal mining city. Killing at least 64 people. So rest in peace to those people who made their transition and their families and communities and all of that other stuff. I mean, you know, all of that. So, Student athlete sues for body shaming by coaches who took her scholarship over sexy photos. Now, she says that they were going through her Instagram and they're like, you need to take those photos down. They're not really appropriate. They're too sexy. She says she took them down. She tried to put up photos that she thought were, you know, conservative. She ended up feeling like they were like stalking her page and like just critical. And there's nothing that she could do. I don't know if they kicked her off the volleyball team or she ended up leaving, transferring to another school. She was on scholarship. She won't be able to get back on the volleyball team at her new school for a year. So she lost her scholarship money. But she said when she looked at her other teammates' pages, who were less voluptuous and less highly melanated, perhaps they didn't have any obvious melanation at all. I'm not sure. But they had on, you know, things just as skimpy as she had on. And some of them more so. Some of them even had on two-piece bathing suits. And no one was stalking them as far as she knows. So she feels that it's sexual harassment. She feels that they were body shaming her. Hey, Bella. What's up, Puda? You never come up here. Oh, you coming? Marvia Malik, Pakistan TV airs first transgender anchor. She just come downstairs to see what I'm doing. She been downstairs for a long time. You hear a pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, and then she come and she look at me. That's my dog, Bella the dog. She used to be the video vixen, but she don't really come into the studio space, so y'all don't know her unless you go back to the old videos. Fired Vancouver waiter. I'm not rude, just French. This is my French way of being. So they say that he was really good with customers. Customers never complained, but that his colleagues, just some of them were brought to tears by how rude he is. He said, we're just blunt. We're French. And we want a high standard of service. And so I've been in the service industry for years, and that's just what we're doing. And they're like, no, you know, your colleagues shouldn't be crying. If you can be, you know, nice and personable to your, to the customers, be nice and personable to the staff. He was probably thinking, well, the staff is not tipping me. But anyway, he said he's not rude, just French. W.E.B. Du Bois describes the making of Black Durham, North Carolina. You know what they used to call Black Durham, North Carolina? Once referred to as Black Wall Street. You know what they used to call the black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Black Wall Street. Wow, the black community's got to be called Black Wall Street if they're thriving. We need some better names. Paris murder of woman 85 investigated as anti-Semitic. So rest in peace to the woman. I guess they say she survived the Holocaust. But they say that the theory is that someone got her for being Jewish. Or because they crazy, not because she's Jewish, because they crazy, if that's why you out here killing people. Why are we out here killing people? Don't kill the people. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Kamala Harris endorses Ben Jealous for Maryland governor. So Ben Jealous was a past president of the NAACP. There might have been another one since him, but it hadn't been too long since he's been president. So he is running for governor of Maryland, and Kamala Harris from Spelman College, who's one of the few black senators. I think she's one of only 3 black female senators we've had. Does she identify as black? She might be Indian, I'm not sure. Remington, oldest U.S. gunmaker, files for bankruptcy. And you know how I feel, all them companies could go out of business. It's probably enough guns in existence to last forever in this country. I think I read someplace that you don't have an exact count of how many guns are in circulation, but there's basically one gun for every citizen of the United States, the theory is. That's a lot of guns, and guns last a long time. So why we got to keep making them? I say good riddance. He was the calm one. Grieving mother learns her son was stabbed by his fiancée after heated argument. Oh my gosh. So rest in peace to him and his mother and his family and his community. Yeah. Well, I don't know why we out here stabbing our fiancés. Why we out here stabbing people? I don't know. Yeah. The domino effect. Eric Reid took a knee with Colin Kaepernick. Now he's unsigned by the NFL. But who knows his name? Eric Reid. Now I know in one of the images I would see sometimes it would be two people and I'd be like, well, who is that other guy? Don't nobody ever talk about him. Maybe he's Eric Reid. And maybe don't nobody like me talk about him, but the NFL owners is like, that's the next one. So, I feel like I wish that I could do something, other than just, hold in prayer and love and, adoration, these athletes who are standing up for what they believe in. You always want to admire and support someone who stands up for what they believe in, particularly if it's for humanity and justice, and my humanity and justice for me and people like me. I support that 100%. But, I just wish, I don't really buy football jerseys, but like if I bought football jerseys, I would only buy the jerseys or wear the jerseys of the people who take a knee. I would only, I feel like I would just like make them like the heroes, like of all the athletes, these are the best athletes. Like, do they have like athletic awards like the, like the Soul Train Awards or the NAACP Image Awards or whatever? I feel like all of these athletes should, be, celebrated and acknowledged and like big ups, you know what I mean? And when they go through the community, people should be like, oh, yay. I don't know about that, but yeah, something like that. Oh, yay. Eric Reid. Yay. Is that his name? Eric Reid. Yay! And also, the same way I feel, I'm not a fan of football. I don't like the idea of people getting knocked in their head and getting the sense knocked out of them because they get knocked in their head repeatedly, or maybe just one good time just knocks the stuff loose and eventually it deteriorates and then they have problems down long term. So I'm a fan of people not playing for the NFL. And I know they make a lot of money doing it, but at what cost? Chance the Rapper calls new Heineken lighter is better ad terribly racist. Since I saw this headline, I heard someone analyze the ad because I'm like, well, sometimes lighter is better. Like to some people, like if you like light beer, it might be better than dark beer. I don't know, but they say on the commercial it's like a couple dark skinned women at the bar, and the drink go by me and go by my other black sister, and then they get to like the racially ambiguous light skinned woman, and she get the beer, and then the thing say sometimes lighter is better. So I'm going to, I think from what I'm hearing, we go agree with Chance the Rapper that this ad is some fuck shit. Excuse me, some F boo-boo. Some F boo-boo. 4 years into water crisis, lead levels in Flint children show decrease, researchers say. So 4 years in, there is a decrease. I don't know how much of a decrease. I don't know, but a decrease is good. Never having had the children exposed to lead is better. Now, of course, we can't have, hey, Miss Rowdy Chica, of course, we can't have the children not having been exposed to the lead. And I don't really know what the holistic systems are out there for cleaning lead out of your system. What I've heard, and I don't know anyone personally that's been exposed to lead, so I've never researched it or thought deeply about it. But what I've heard is like once the stuff is in your system, sorry, I didn't check in, but hello, Prima Donna. Welcome, Prima Donna. This is the first time I'm seeing your name. Thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate it. So, thank you for the like. So, the thing going down is good. It not having happened is better. you know. And you know, I'm in Michigan, and you know the governor here, that whole situation was some bull, and it was about giving money to his friends. It was not about saving money. It was about giving money and directing resources to, you know, rich white men with property and power. And it's just it's terribly sad, just jacked up. It's unjust, it's wrong, it's incorrect, it's improper, it's cruel, it's inhumane, you know, that people are dealing with lead poisoning, lead exposure. And it's like that's, and I mean, when you're a parent and you have a child, you know, who's in the 2nd grade, who's in kindergarten, who's in the 6th grade, you're going to be dealing with that stuff for a long time. That stuff has long term, as far as I know, forever impact. Now, I believe, you know, theoretically that there's probably some holistic way to clean the stuff out, but I don't know. And then how many people are really, you know, open and receptive, even if there are methods to, you know, like that whole thing, like with the Flint water, and then we delivering all that water in plastic containers to Flint. That's some bull too. You know, and then some of that water is probably from Nestle. And Nestle, if I'm not mistaken, is one of those companies that has access to local water for like, you know, $100 a year, and they selling the water, and the people in the community don't even have access to the water. But they done lock that water up for a corporation to make money. Exclusive, John Boyega on starring in and producing Pacific Rim Uprising. I ain't never heard of Pacific Rim Uprising, but I have heard of John Boyega. He was at the Charles H. Wright Museum promoting Detroit, the movie, when it was out. And I guess he was in Star Wars. He's shorter. You know, a lot of people are shorter in person than they appear on TV. The film knocked Black Panther from the #1 spot in the box office. So that's good. Wrinkle in Time was doing good. This is doing good. You know, I guess it's like good in the theoretical sense. I don't know if it's good in terms of, you know, increasing our quality of life. But, you know, I do feel like, you know, there's bread and there's roses. So I feel like bread, yeah, we hungry, we want to eat. Hey, welcome on the chat. We hungry, we want to eat, we want food. Bread is, hey, Mary Jane. Bread is very, very important, but roses are important too. Beauty and things that inspire us and things that, you know, stimulate our imagination and help us to think of what's possible in the world. You know, these things feed our soul and feed our spirit. So these things are important too. So maybe these movies, Pacific Rim Uprising, I don't know what it's about. I wasn't planning to go see it. Probably ain't. I ain't know. I done seen 2 movies and I saw Wrinkle in Time. I ain't going. So anyway, but for those of you who, you know, go on and see Pacific Rim Uprising and let me know how it is. After political boosts, I feel you, me too. After political boosts, Black women in Alabama running for office in large numbers. So remember the guy who went to vote and he was on the horse and he lost and he was accused of, oh, he was the one who liked to date. He got banned from the mall because he liked to go after little girls. He would go to the mall, I guess, looking for little girls. But anyway, he was running for office. And, you know, they say that statistically the votes of Black women is what kept him from getting elected. So in Alabama, a lot of Black women are now running for office throughout the country. There are some, I saw on The Rundown with Robin Thede, she was talking about it a little bit. If you don't watch that show, I think it's funny. Even the ways in which it's shallow, you know, it's like a good mix of like pop culture and silliness and politics and information. I like it. I like it. I like it. Android malware found inside seemingly innocent QR code apps. So I guess since these other, like, you know, since the criminal minded are creative. So, you know, they done found a way to get viruses into your phone. So, you know, those little things you scan. Can't remember when the last time is that I scanned it, but it used to be like on my Mary Kay card, I used to have like a barcode and you could scan it and it would lead you to my website. Or, you know, they're like, I don't know when the last time is I scanned anything, but it seemed like about 4 or 5 years ago, it was a bunch of stuff I'm scanning. So maybe I'm just like out of that scanning loop, but that's where in those little things that seem like, oh, I'm just going to scan this. And you think, oh, I got a whatever you think you got. You also got a virus and you just didn't know it. You know, that's what, or that's what they're working on. You know, they always trying to get at you with this malware. The criminals will be criminals, won't they? Bonanza Race War of 1904. I never heard of it. Successful attempt to drive black workers out of coal mines. It's so interesting. You know, like there's so much hostility. It's sort of like there's this idea that there's like so few resources. The resources are so limited that a lot of white folks have bought into. So they fight with black folks over the limited resources. And meanwhile, the 1% is just making out. You know, they taking, you know, 90% of everything. And then we down here fighting over the 10%. You know, that seems like that's historically what's been going on. And that sounds like the situation with the Bonanza Race War of 1904. Maybe you'll be interested in researching it and doing a video and explaining it to all of us. DR Congo massacre. My daughter was slashed with a machete. I don't know what's going on with the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Fated for royalty, but you know, peace to the people who were who lost their lives or got hurt and injured and, you know, terrorized in that massacre in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Fated for royalty. All Old Home movie shows a young Meghan Markle playing queen, which I thought was really interesting. I don't know if you know this, but Meghan Markle is the one who they say she's black. Although I think her mother is black. I think she identifies as biracial. Visually looking at her, I mean, I guess she looked white to me, but if you tell me she's black, I kind of sort of can believe it because some black people look black, but she identifies, thank you. She identifies as biracial. Thank you, Rowdy Chica. But, so anyway, she's the one who's about to get married to somebody like number 5 in line currently for the King of England or something. I don't know. He's like British royalty. But what I thought was interesting is that, you know, do you remember just thinking about what games and what visions you had as a child, or, you know, what were the things that we were thinking about, right? She played queen. What did you play? And what are you playing now? You know, because thoughts are creative, you know, and like, you know, it's like I feel like we should continue to visualize and, you know, play at the things that we want to see in the world and think about them coming into being for ourselves, for our families, and for our community, you know. So that's, you know, I guess that's good for her if that was part of her, you know, vision. Or maybe she played as a donkey. Maybe she played as a queen. Maybe she played as a artist. Maybe she played as a whole bunch of things. And, you know, maybe it wasn't like, I always dreamed of being royalty. But, you know, still just for us, the takeaway, you know. Stormy Daniels' pupils dilated during her 60 Minutes interview. Here's why her irises might have changed shape. Now, I thought that was interesting. I used to work with this woman, and she'd be like, you know, if we worked with kids, she was with high school students. She was a teacher, and I was like a liaison, whatever. And so, you know, sometimes you'd have children who would be like problem children, or you'd have problems with some of the young folks. And she'd be like, that boy is on drugs. I'm like, how you know that boy is on drugs? What are you talking about? She's like, Angela, his pupils were dilated. Or maybe she'd say, Angela, his pupils weren't dilated. And I'd just be like, I could never. And then I'd like try to like look at the pupils, but it was like so many other things I'd be paying attention to that it just like stressed me out. Like, are the pupils, I don't even know what it means. So anyway, the child's, her pupils were dilated. I guess some people on Twitter in this article, they were saying it's a bright studio. Why are her pupils so big or something? Does that mean she's lying? I don't know. But it just reminded me of Miss Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. And her ability to know what was going on by pupils being dilated. James Packer, resignation puts focus on high flyer mental health. So I wanted to click on the article, but wherever I was, I couldn't get the internet. But it's someone who like ran a corporation, some rich white man with property and power who stepped down from his corporation because he said he was having mental health issues, or he felt, he needed to attend to his mental health. And, I feel like, again, the takeaway for us is, how are we taking care of our mental health? How are we taking care of ourselves? How are we keeping ourselves spiritually, enriched and fed and energized? And, so just, this is just a public service announcement, figure out them things to feed your soul that you need to do, to take the best care that you can of your mental health. Because, we out here, we fighting, we exposed to all of this stuff, all of these things that feel like they're attacks on us and people trying to tear us down and destroy us. And, we want to stay strong and we want to stay healthy, and we want to, when we need to take breaks, we need to take breaks. When sometimes you need to, hey, Vivian Stubbs, sometimes you need to, we need to put that high up on our priority list to know how we can take good care of ourselves. And it's individual for each of us. It may be baths, it may be walks, it may be talking to your best friend, it may be petting your dog, it may be all of those things, it may be none of them things, it may be writing in your journal. But just, continue to pay attention to that and prioritize that, because it's important. If we don't have you, what do we have? If we don't have you, what do we have? We need you. We need each other to be healthy and strong. So if you need to resign or step back from some things for your mental health, a la Will Packer, whoever this guy is, go ahead and do that. Sometimes I feel like we glory in this idea of, oh, I can't. And I'm trying to pass on all of that, we can and we will and we are taking great care of ourselves because we deserve it. And, that's God's will for us. 7-year-old girl horsing around with her mother dies after prank goes wrong. And I don't know what it was. It was something about it, some Doritos or something. And again, when I was doing this, I couldn't get into the article because I was really like, what happened? What's going on? I just can't imagine. Can you imagine being the mother and it's like, haha, it's a prank, and then now the child is dead? So just, I don't know what the story is, but just pray, I know it's not fun to lose a mama or lose a daddy or a brother, but just a child, it's just, and then, again, a prank. So yeah, just prayers out. Peace to, the child as the child makes their transition, and the family and the community and, all of us. And, it reminds me in a way, I don't really know the details of the story, but remember the guy who, the mother his girlfriend just got in trouble for it. But remember, he was trying to build his YouTube channel by hey, I'm going to hold this book up to my chest, or they came up with the idea together, and you shoot me with the gun. Ha, it'll be a great prank and our channel will go viral. And he said he tested it out and then he's dead. And their child saw the thing happen. And I don't want to say, don't be out here playing around, because I know, playing is part of growing and developing. But, don't be out here playing around to the point where you could die, please. We need you, Yuri Gagarin, first man in space. I think 50 years ago, he was the first man in space. I think he was Russian, but he might have made his transition he might have died 50 years ago. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Brazil's female sports reporters call time on sexual harassment. So I think it's 40 or 50 of them. They all got together. They talk about being groped on air. I just can't imagine you working yes. And in sports today, and somebody grabbing your butt and grabbing your boobs, or, what in the world is going, so anyway, yeah. So the, female sportscasters are, protesting. And I protest too, because that's some bull. Don't be grabbing on people. Keep your hands to yourself. Unless you invited. BMW reportedly plans car subscription service test for Nashville. So I don't know if we talked about this a couple months ago. There were two companies, BMW might have been one of them, that was like, it was like a subscription service for like, you know, however much you get the car, but they maintain it. And it's like, you know, a subscription. And then I guess when you're ready to move on to the next car, they give you the next car. So BMW is going to be testing it for in Nashville, according to the rumors. Spy poisoning. Russian diplomats expelled across U.S. and Europe. I was surprised that they were expelled in the U.S. I don't know what's going on with Zero. I guess that, you know, I don't know, because I thought Putin was his best friend and he thought everything was great and wonderful. So I don't know. It's so hard to keep up with these people. And then I like to listen to Three Hoodoo Sisters? Somebody does tarot readings on the YouTube. And she was doing a reading on Trump. I don't know how old it is, but now I'm just mad at her and salty. Because she's like, he gonna come close to impeachment, but he not gonna get impeached. Now, if he got impeached, would my life really be better? If Pence was president, would my life really be better? I mean, I'm just like, the whole thing, I need to find a better vision, because the whole thing is just, y'all. So anyway, that's what's happening with the spies. Producer who demanded Ashanti shower with him or pay it $45,000 for an album is taught a lesson he'll never forget. I don't know what the lesson was. Does anybody know what happened? So I don't even understand that they have a contract, and he was like, well, you know, I'll just charge you $5,000 instead of $50,000 if you shower with me. Or did they have a contract like, okay, it's $5,000, and then she paid him $5,000 and he like shower with me, and she like, no, and then he gave her a bill like $45,000. Like, I don't understand what kind of business, what's going on with the business end of things, you know, and maybe the music industry is like casual in a way that I can't understand, because I just feel like, because I think Safari said something like that, like, I guess because what Baby Girl was his partner, he wasn't charging her, and then after he broke up, he wanted to charge her, and I feel like, well, don't be charging me after the fact if we didn't have no agreement that I was going to pay you. And if we had an agreement that I was going to pay you, then show me the paperwork. So, you know, I don't know. So, I don't know what's up with Ashanti, and I don't know what lesson he was taught. But I guess I will be kind of creeping to see if I can find anything out, if I happen to come across anything. Federal flight deck officers. The airline pilots trained to shoot hijackers. Oh. Have a good night. Rowdy Chica. Hashtag Me Too movement takes hold in South Korea. All over the world. I guess wherever there are men, they just be harassing women, I guess. Stormy Daniels says Trump told her, "You remind me of my daughter," after she spanked him with a magazine. I wonder if his daughter spanks him with a magazine, or if that was just like a compliment to him. Spain, Catalonia, mass protesters after Germany detains Puigdemont. So we talked about this. Russia fired children caught in deadly mall blaze. Oh, I think we've looked back around to where we were. I don't know what's going on, but my news feed has been short the last couple of days, so we'll take it. Because it's like already 10:34. And I saw that Gag Order was on, and I haven't watched it. Have you watched Gag Order? But when I went to set this, it's like Gag Order is live. I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch Gag Order. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know I'm about to get off of this live with y'all, or get off of this video. And thank you so much for being here, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and all of those things that are helping to build the channel to its first 1,000 charter subscribers. Yay! Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Be you. Peace. Be fabulous. Be fabulous.